Good morning, beautiful friends. It's nice to have you on board. I forgot to turn my stage lights on, so I've got a bit more of an artistic effect today. But it's way more of a visceral affair than a visual one. So close your eye shades, look at the back of your eye shades. Nice deep breath. We'll stick with our regimen, our ritual. 10 minutes of guided, 20 minutes of silence, and 5 minutes of spiritual exploration. Relax, take a load off. Start of a brand new week, start of a brand new day. Could be the start of a brand new life this very day. And just begin to feel your breath move in and out at the tip of your nose. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, no agenda, no trying to make it happen, no trying to create good. What a relief. The 1,001 details of daily life are suddenly pushed to the back burner, and the one detail that matters comes to the forefront. Conscious contact with life force. Watching our breath smooths it out, brings some balance, some texture, some refinement, depth. Wrinkles in the breath are allowed to resolve and remove. Relax, relax. Let go, or a willingness to let go of any problems, issues, concerns, dilemmas, situations. Let them fade. All is well. Everything is unfolding perfectly, even if appearances are to the contrary. Good. Now let's loosen up patterns of perception locked in our head by chanting Om. Nice big inhale. Remember, you're muted, so you can do what you will. Om. Feel that. Feel that move in and through you, relaxing and releasing patterns of holding and tension. Today's prayer, affirmation, invocation, intention. God, love, source, being, infinite, higher, organizing principle, whatever. Lift our vision, allow us to see further, higher, deeper than we ever have before of truth, the true nature of reality, beyond what we think it is, that we may know what it actually is. Amen. Now, for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, just feel exactly what you're feeling. Breathe what you feel what you breathe, merge the two together. Remembering, of course, that every psycho-emotional state has a corresponding breath pattern. By breathing what we feel, we help resolve, dissolve, solve. Good, you guys are doing great. We'll do one more really big inhale, a long extended exhale of Om, and that will move us right into our 20 minutes. feeling everything that you're feeling, biggest inhale that you can. Oh. Let go, release. Use the mantra. So on inhale, hum on exhale inside of your head. And if and when your mind wanders, distractions, thoughts, opinions, attitudes, struggles, etc., ad nauseum, just rein your mind back into the touchstone of the mantra. I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Okay, make your way back slowly. Enjoy the afterglow. It's a important, propitious time of the day to enjoy this transition back from the fourth dimension to the third dimension. It's here you can get a big supply of daily bread, if you will. Not the flowery stuff, but the sustenance of life. Feel back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Circulate feel good around yourself. Open your eyes a little bit. Blink, 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 blinkety blink. Let the light back in. Okay, 5 minutes of spiritual thought or principle. I'm a huge believer, experiencer of spiritual principles. I think they're infallible. I think they are just as there are physical principles, there are metaphysical principles. And certainly tied for first amongst all spiritual principles. And what's the benefit of a spiritual principle? They bring harmony, wisdom, truth, beauty, love. How's that? How do you like those apples? So tied for first among spiritual principles, and possibly at the top of the heap is the combination of 3 words that are probably the 3 hardest words to put together to understand of all spiritual principles. And the words are resist not evil. Compressed in those 3 words is the answer and the solution to every problem we could ever have. But it is so challenging for the human mind to gather. But there's always a new angle and new understanding. So I'm going to try to combine the ancient principle of resist not evil and its importance to a modern principle, and do that in less than 2.5 minutes in a way that's significant. So if you have a modern camera of some sort, it zooms in and it zooms out, doesn't it? So my iPhone does. It can zoom in up to 5 times, and there are other cameras that can zoom in literally for miles. And of course, there are telescopes and microscopes that can zoom in or out thousands, tens of thousands. An electron microscope can zoom in millions of times. When you zoom in on something, you vivify it, you make it more real, you add more clarity and texture, more granular validity to it. This is zooming in. When you zoom out with your camera, whatever you're looking at begins to fade from view. It might still be in view, but it's surrounded by so much other information that it's no longer occupying the primary screen of the lens, zooming in and zooming out. The modern principle around this we might consider to be the observer effect in quantum physics. When it's been largely proven in quantum theory that the observer participates in the shaping of reality. Reality is quantum, it's undifferentiated potential energy, and it's the observer, based on what they're looking at, who actually shapes the construction of matter and atomic substructure that becomes tables and chairs and clouds and cats and bees and birds and such. So that's called zooming in and zooming out. Now, what are humans trained to do with problems? You zoom in on them, you zoom in, you take your attention and you focus in on it as hard as you can. You want to get a good understanding of your problem. You want to see it from all angles. You want to see it in its granular particularity. You want to know it. You want to consume your consciousness with it so that you can solve it, so that you can make it go away. Do you hear the fallacy in this? By looking harder at problems, we actually amplify, magnify them. I've got a friend who uses the phrase, our magical magnifying minds. Simply put, whatever we put our attention on magnifies or swells. That which we withdraw or retract our attention from dissipates. Resist not evil. This is the principle, and it is so hard for humans to get this. We're not trained in it. We're actually trained in the opposite of it. We're trained to resist evil. By resist, I mean put a roadblock up against it, look at it, struggle against it, wrestle against it, start a campaign against it, start a war against it, resist evil. That's humans' answers. That's the human answer to evil or inharmony or whatever you want to call it, that which causes suffering. And it just continues to produce more suffering generation after generation for as long as humans choose to do that. But any individual human can remember this principle and realize the key is to zoom out, pull your attention back, and then turn your attention elsewhere and look at something more pleasing, distracting, harmonious, interesting, fascinating, resolution-oriented, whatever it might be. But this understanding, even the simple understanding that by the intense, focused observation of a problem or an evil simply magnifies it and makes it swell up and fill up all of your available lens, hopefully is a reminder for all of us that all that will lead to is more of the problem rather than less. So when we really do want to heal, when we really do want to resolve, when we really do want the return of harmony, we simply must remember this principle. We can't get around it. There's no way around a spiritual principle. It works like gravity. It works like water finding its own level. So we'll talk about this all this week from a variety of angles. Resist not evil. Look away from things. Look at something else and play around with it in your mind. Notice if you are zooming in on your problems and letting them consume you in an effort to make them go away. Notice the folly of that and how it doesn't work. And I'll try to do the same thing. Okay, focus on beautiful things today. See you.